There we go. All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday morning live stream. Today we have a very special guest because I was on his show. I decided to bring him on my show. So we're just going to bring him through and then we'll talk to him about a couple things today. Be fun. Um, oh, my green screen's broken again, so let me fix that. Oh, what a morning. What a morning. All right, so
To automate this.
yes, we're gonna have to get this automated so this doesn't happen anymore. All right, I gotta make your green screen cool. Hold on. There we go.
Okay,
You're good to go.
matchy. Nice.
So yeah, we're having some weird software issues. This new streaming software that I've been using is starting to have some issues. So I apologize, everybody. So today we're giving away these vacuum attachments that Antonio from VCA makes. So that's what we're giving away today.
Nice. These are fancier, newer. I have the original one. Those
Yeah.
ones snazzy, two-toned.
Yeah. Continuous crashing. Let's see. Let's see what people are making fun of today. I saw Desert Reef was in the stream making fun of me, so this should be a good stream for sure. So today's topic is going to be automating maintenance and how we go about doing so to make it so you don't have to touch your fish tank as much, which
Yes.
that's always a good thing because people hate cleaning their fish tank, including myself, and I have 3 of them. So less cleaning is great. So
Automated water changes are the best thing ever.
yes, definitely. Oh god, at least bug snacks. All right, so my biggest thing, and I've talked about this in the past, and I actually saw one of your videos, is bubble scrubbing.
Yep.
And strangely enough, I was reading online about how to make it so I don't have to clean the glass as much. And everyone was saying, "Oh, do bubble scrubbing. It's going to make your algae build up less." And I was like, "Whatever. This is a bunch of nonsense. I don't believe any of it." So I started doing it, and surprise, surprise, I'm cleaning my glass maybe once a week, if that.
So you
Um,
actually clean the glass less while doing it. I don't know if I've noticed that one or not. Not
yeah.
that I was paying attention to it, but
And I've said this before to people on the stream. It's like I'm amazed. I started doing
Mhm.
it, and I rarely clean the glass. Seriously. And my nutrients are pretty high. So, my phosphates are like zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.12 or 3 or
Mhm.
something. And my nitrates usually 5 to 10. So it's
Yep.
not like they're super low. Um, so for those out there, I would definitely recommend just trying the bubble scrubbing if you're cleaning a lot.
Mhm.
And that really helped
O-
me.
Other big thing is it gives you some awesome water clarity because it's helping remove those little particulates from the water.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and of course, Devin and me both agree on this, but having the filter roller mat
Oh,
is a huge
100% worth it.
a huge investment that I recommend to anybody. If they're going to buy
Yep.
anything for their tank, that's something I recommend highly. And, having to clean
It's
filter socks every 3 days is an absolute nightmare. So,
Yeah, changing a roll every couple months is like, thank you.
yeah, I haven't changed the roll on my Clarices, and they upgrade. They made the bigger ones so you can get the bigger
Yeah,
rolls. I haven't cleaned it in like probably 2 or 3 months. I haven't replaced it.
yeah. I did mine last week for the GeoSump one. So whenever I put that in, I did that one. And then looking at my tank over there, there's still maybe like 10% of it used, I'm guessing, on the frag tank so far.
Yeah,
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 so
they're
they're
really great. They really are.
100% worth it. Now, if you are going to get one, depending on how much space you have, put in the biggest one you can because usually when you're buying it, like one size to the next is like $50 difference.
Hmm.
But the big thing is the rolls are bigger, which means they'll last longer and you can change it less.
Exactly. Someone had a question. Let me see.
Do you all put your roller on a timer so it doesn't run all the time? Nope. Let
No,
it
I
run
mean
all the
most
time.
yeah, most of the filter rollers that I've seen have, they have a sensor. Like the Clarity has a sensor. They all have sensors, so that way you can just run
Mhm.
them all the time. If you don't run it all the time, Colt, it'll just overflow, and then is worthless at that point. There's no, if it's not doing its job, then there's no point in having it on a timer. Desert Reef Aquatics gave me $10.
Nice.
Unbelievable, unbelievable.
Now, if you don't want it to fully filter everything, most of them have a little bypass door too, so you can let some of the water bypass through it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, I have. It's interesting because I have two Clarices sitting next to each other, and my
Mm-hmm.
issue that I'm having, and I got to come up with an idea, and I've started to come up with a couple ideas, is one of them is closer to one overflow than the other,
Mm-hmm.
so one of them gets more water than the other one, and
Okay.
the right one always starts overflowing because it doesn't get enough water. So I'm gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
somehow maybe put like a ball valve on one of them so I can even out the flow. I just haven't done it yet.
That's fair. Probably doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They're both doing their job.
Oh, you guys are funny. Oh my god. I'm sorry, guys. I'm half asleep still, but I'm
Good
getting there.
morning.
I'm waking up. I gotta get some more something in me. Oh, you got what's that? Coffee or something?
You betcha.
Oh, yeah. I need something like that. For you guys that do, yeah. I mean, I
It's not very often.
did he? What's going on here? He gave me another $10. What is going on with you? Did you just get money all of a sudden? Don't you owe me money? Yeah,
Who died?
I think you owe me money. So what is this? Is this going towards the money you owe me, or is this just
Probably.
extra? I think it's extra.
No.
You gonna say something?
Yeah, I lost it. It's
Oh,
gone.
okay.
Still sleepy.
Can you please talk about or share your Apex program for ATO solenoid? Jake, you'll have to expand on that a little bit. I don't know what that means exactly. Um, let's see.
John, I am using the NIOS skimmers.
That's right.
I got
You have
the
a Nios.
NIOS 160 on my frag and the 220 on the water box.
Yeah, I changed all my skimmers out.
What do
It
you
went ridiculous.
what, what do you have now?
I have Royal Exclusive. I have two of them. Yeah,
You
I'm
crazy
a little
man.
nuts.
What did you have before?
Nios.
Now, is there much of a difference?
Yes, because they're DC.
Okay, fair.
Um, so I found it. The Nios was working great. Don't get me wrong, but I was
Hmm.
having issues with um, micro bubbles on it for some reason,
Hmm.
and it's probably because of how my sump is laid out. So what I like
Hmm.
about the Royal Exclusive is there's almost zero bubbles that come out of it. So I don't know. I like the DC factor that I can just tune it in to exactly what I want. Um, I don't know. I think I gave away the Nios on one of my streams, so I don't remember who won it, but you know.
You're crazy man. Okay. Okay, no, that's fair. So DC is the difference. Is there any difference in terms of like performance or anything else, or literally just is DC you can tweak it a bit further?
Um, I would say no in terms of performance, but the
Yeah.
fact that I can tweak it to exactly the way I want it,
Hmm.
is quite nice. I really do like it. Um, I only got it because I got one for my big tank, and I was like blown away
Hmm.
how great it was compared to my other one. And these skimmers, you put something in the tank, and they're gonna overflow like crazy. With these skimmers,
Hmm.
they don't overflow. Like you can dial them down to exactly how you want, and I don't think I've ever had it overflow on me, and
Yeah.
that's why I like it
Nice.
so much. Um, Dude, where are you getting this money from? Like seriously, I'm confused.
Dun, dun, dun. Baby, I got your money. Don't you worry. Say.
Have you guys tried the new Hannah checker? I have one. It's sitting on my um, counter in my kitchen. I haven't opened it yet. I think today I have to do a test for nitrates and phosphates just to see if my reef bot is actually working. Um, and we'll see how bad it is or how good it is. But I've heard a lot of nightmare stories, unfortunately. So we'll see. I'm going to try it and I'll give you my opinion on it. I'll probably do a video on it actually. Because I think it's something people haven't seen how to do it. Do you guys have the glass cleaning robot? I was actually going to discuss this today. Um,
Okay.
I I think it would be great for my 300. That's a big tank. Um, but I've seen them. There's a couple on Amazon. I haven't tried them. Um, but I know, didn't you mention it one time with me that there's something online that someone's
There was a
got and
there was a new one supposed to be coming out for like 2 years now. It had a little and it had like is like a pill shape and it looked super slick, but they've been coming out for like 3 years, so I don't know if it's ever coming.
oh, yeah. I think that'd be
Trying to find
cool.
it right
Like I
now.
said, for a large tank, for a small tank, I think it's overkill and silly. And you got to remember, guys, from what I saw, it looked pretty big. I think it was like so you're gonna have this big thing hanging on your tank. For a 4 foot tank, it looked kind of silly. I think
I wanted it for the stair side of my peninsula to clean it for me.
that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it still says pre-order on their website.
Oh,
And it's been pre-order for like 3 years now. I was looking at this before I even got my water box, being like, yeah. And they're like, it's coming soon. It's coming soon.
I'm just
Never comes.
waiting on Reef Automation to upgrade his filter roller. Listen, I watched Devin's video on the Clarity, and that's when I bought the Clarity. And Desert Reef, we installed it, remember, together? How difficult is that going to be to take out and then put a different one in?
It's
Almost
there for life.
impossible. It's there for
There.
life. Yeah, it's not going
Yep.
anywhere. You're not getting anything more from me, by the way.
I think he's slowly trying to buy it off you via super chats.
Yeah, he's trying to. That's right. You're prepaying for it.
Always wondered how Devin cleans the stair side. Okay, so I bought two flippers. I have a flipper on each side of the tank, so it's convenient. Whatever side I'm on, I just use. So I put that
Oh,
up
there
in the
you
back,
go.
and then I just like spread eagle between like the banister railing and that little like couple inches I left myself on the side of the stairs, and then I just go bloop, and I can stand there and do it. I can reach most of it from the stairs except for like the top little corner because I'm fairly tall. But if I want to like reach in the tank, then I'll put my foot on the ledge and
Oh
I can
man.
put one arm on the wall and get in there.
So no ladder or anything? You don't get a ladder
No,
out?
it's too much work to take it out and put it away. I can
Oh.
just like spread eagle between the banister and the stairs and reach whatever I need from there. I got strategies.
So let me try to think. There's a couple other things I wanted to discuss. So do you still do ozone?
Sure do.
Okay. So I do ozone. Today's topic's more about automating maintenance and providing a cleaner tank without having to maintenance it as much. And
Hmm.
one thing that I do is ozone. And I found by doing the ozone, the tank is always crystal clear. I don't have to
Yeah.
worry about much. Um, so for those that have been interested in ozone, Devin does it a little different than I do.
How do you do it?
You do it differently than I do. Don't you have it on a timer or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't have it on a timer. So I have that thing full blast all day long.
Too much ozone is bad.
I know. But no ill effects, so I'm pretty happy with it. Then again, I have a very small unit on a bigger tank, so um,
I do too. Okay, how many milligrams are you running?
I think
How
it's
big
35
is
milligrams an
your
hour,
tank?
and it's a
Rough.
100-gallon tank.
Okay, 5 to 30 milligrams, and I have like a 200-gallon tank.
Yeah, there you go.
So I run a super low amount. But
Is it okay to use ozone and UV at the same time? Yes. I mean,
now that they're similar but different, right? They're both essentially going to raise your ORP. The only questionable part is if your ORP is already like crazy high, if you're already like 450 plus with the UV, then the ozone may be pushing up crazy high. I don't fully know the dangers of it being too high, but I know like if you're reading like the Randy Holmes Farley stuff, and they kind of say 450s should be kind of like the upper area that you want in your ORP.
right,
Like right now, mine's 434, but I have the Apex turn off my ozone if it hits 450.
right. Yeah, you got a pretty high ORP. My ORP is like 300, and I'm running it literally 24/7.
Yeah, okay, so you're probably fine then.
Um, Someone had another question. Well, Lucas, thank you so much for the super chat, by the way. Desert Reef Aquatics is the only one that's providing me with them, and he owes me so much money, so it's kind of a wash. So Let's see. Does ozone
Okay,
and carbon do the same thing? I've questioned that as well.
kind of, kind of. All right. So carbon absorbs stuff, right? It's very porous media. It will suck stuff into it. So in terms of water clarity, yes, they will both clear your water. If you have like nasties in your water you want to pull out, carbon will absorb it. Where ozone will break down organics. So they don't do exactly the same thing, but they'll both give you clear water,
Yeah.
right? Carbon will pull out more nasties. Ozone will break down organics and yellowing pigments in your water, which then your skimmer skims out easier.
Yeah, so that's a good question. I've thought, and I've done some research, and I'm not sure of the answer actually, but
Hmm.
carbon will take out metals. I don't know if ozone will. I
No,
don't believe it
uh,
will. So if you
no.
guys have hard metals in your tank, like aluminum, a tin, for instance, and you can only find that out by a test. It can be harmful in large quantities, but keep in mind a lot of those elements are in the water normally, so you don't
Mhm.
want to strip them out either. But yeah, typically carbon will strip them out, whereas ozone will not. Um, let's see. I don't have an ORP. Is it okay to run ozone? I do not believe it is a good idea to run ozone without an ORP measurement. You can definitely destroy your tank. So, Kirk,
I would be
I'd
I'd be
recommend,
running a very low amount if you didn't have ORP.
yeah, or maybe like you said at night, like you do for like 2 or 3 hours tops.
Yeah, 4 or 5 hours. Now, one other consideration, you can get an ozone reactor. 90% of people just use your skimmer, but you need to make sure your skimmer is rated for ozone. There's cast and extruded acrylic, and one of them is perfectly fine for ozone and can handle it, and the other one will degrade and crack over time.
Right.
Yeah, so make sure your skimmer is rated for it. So speaking of the NIOS, that's one benefit. It is perfectly fine with ozone. I've been doing it for years and it still looks brand new.
Yeah, so that's a good point. I've had skimmers that will just turn like brown and ugly looking with ozone, and these Royal exclusives look like they're brand new because they're made for ozone. There's actually ozone ports on it. Um, Colt says the audio is cutting out. I don't know. I've had so many issues with the computer today. I'm not even gonna look. um, has anyone used the Avast ozone reactor? That's a good question. It's really expensive, and I think it's not needed. What's your opinion?
Well, if you have a skimmer that can handle it, then no. But if yeah, your skimmer can handle it, do you pick up like a used sacrificial skimmer or do you just use an ozone reactor? I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah. Let's see. Other questions? No questions.
Oh,
Okay,
that's a big
so
beast.
when we have no questions, what we do is we make fun of Desert Reef Aquatics. So, Desert Reef Aquatics, how's that pond? How's that pond doing that you have? For those that didn't watch, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, he was on, and I highly recommend it. If you want a good laugh at silliness and a great pond video, take a look at his because it's really funny. Okay. Who gave me a thumbs down? They didn't like that comment, apparently. I wonder who it was that gave me the thumbs down. All right, anyway. So between the
Nice.
Nios and the Reef Octopus Elite with the ozone port, um, I love the Nios skimmers, Lucas. Reef Octopus, of course, has been around for a long time, so they got a ton of different skimmers. Um, I don't know. What do you think? I like the Nios skimmers a lot.
I really like the NIOS. The only one downfall is it could be a plus, could be a negative, but they don't have a DC pump. It'd be nice if they did. Now that being said, I'm like hardcore about stuff being quiet, and it is surprisingly quiet for an AC skimmer. Like it's my 221 I can hear a bit, but the 160 like I'll barely notice it.
Yeah, it's
Like
super quiet.
yeah, it's on right now. I don't even hear it. So it's really quiet for that. Now, the only one thing that kind of got me when I first got it, if you look on their website, it gives you a watt rating, and it's actually like double that because that's the watt rating at 220 volts because they're in Europe. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what? It's taking double the watts. And I'm like, oh, it's AC. And then it all made sense. And I realized because they're running 220 volts from running 120, so of course it doubles it. But yeah, overall though, they work awesome. Like they skim very well and
Right.
they're very high quality. So I like them. I wish they had a DC option. Maybe they will one day. But other than that, I think it's a great skimmer.
Yeah, I think they're. I mean, I had my Nios 160 for a long time, and I really
Mm-hmm.
liked it. What's the best automation maintenance tip you would recommend?
Automate water changes.
Yeah, automating water changes is probably my favorite maintenance tip. It provides so much less, you know, bringing buckets around and doing the sand sifting and all the annoyance with doing water changes. Um, the one that I have, I use liter meters. I've always used liter meters for my auto water changes, and they work great. What do you use? What are you using for automatic water changes?
Versa.
Oh, okay. So you use the two Versas. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. I have one at the tank that pumps out, and I have one at my water change bin that pumps up and does 5,000 mils a day.
perfect.
Yeah. It's working well.
I have stuff to do in Coral to print. Oh, good, you're leaving. Thank God. All right, get out of
You're
here.
printing coral. Oh, perfect. Pictures of coral sticking on the side of the glass.
Well, he doesn't have live coral, so because he can't keep it alive like everything else. Like, you know, he wants to buy a batfish for some strange reason for a 50-gallon tank. We'll see how long that one survives.
Well, if you get a really nice printer, you print some pretty acros and glue it to the back of the glass, and
Yes,
gives the effect.
yes, definitely. It's gonna go in the same place that his horseshoe crab went. All right, let's see. I have a baby 5-gallon that's rocking. A 5-gallon tank, wow. And it's rocking with two 50% water changes a week. Upgrading to
Nice.
220s in my sump. I'm a big do-it-yourselfer, but what do I need to actually buy? For a 5-gallon tank? Is that what she's saying? Or she's getting 220s? I don't quite. You read that?
Okay, let me reread it. 5-gallon tank. I'm rocking. I think. They want to know what do they use to automate water changes. That's what I'm reading.
Oh, okay. 220s.
Oh, upgrading to 220s in my sump. Okay, so you're gonna have 40 gallons of water. I'm a big DIYer. Okay, so what do you actually need to buy? Now, do you have a controller? Don't you have a controller? I mean, if you have a controller, something like the dose could work. Or not, yeah, the dose. If you don't, I'm only using two Versas. So, I mean, you can pick up two of those and do it. You can pick up 2 liter meters. Like, there's a lot of options. If you totally want to DIY it, you could probably build like some Arduino thing and some motors, level sensors, and all that jazz.
Hmm.
All easier to just buy and tell them to do their thing.
Yeah, for such a small tank, 220s even is still pretty small. You could definitely do some verses, and that would take care of all. That
Yeah,
would take care of it without a doubt.
I would totally do verses, and mainly because you just program them directly, right? No other timers, nothing else needed. They're standalone. You pull up your app, calibrate it. Okay, and you do 1,000 mils. You do 1,000 mils daily. Done.
Mhm. Thank
That's what I
you,
would do.
Brian Bench, for the super chat. I'm sure that
Whoop
came
whoop.
from your hard-earned work, unlike the other guy who probably stole the money from someone. So thank you, Brian. Um, See, if you guys really want to meet Desert Reef Aquatics, just come to Arizona. Go on the 101 and the 60 intersection, and he sits out there with a sign. You could just you could just say hi to him. All right.
Yeah.
Uh,
Milton, I know you do bubble scrubbing, but is there an automated way to blow off all the rocks and sand to let the roller mat catch the crap? Really, you just need some decent power heads and lots of flow to auto
yeah,
blow off stuff.
yeah, Milton. I got two. No, I don't have two. I have four power heads in my tank. Um, and if you have the right amount of flow and you have a good amount of flow in the back and a good amount of flow in the front, you shouldn't have any problem with getting your rocks blown off of detritus. I think that's the most important thing. Obviously, having a good cleanup crew will help. You know, a good amount of snails, crabs, and so forth. That'll help with that. But again, the bubble scrubbing is not necessarily to get things off the rocks. What it's really meant is to take particulates out of the water itself, pull it up to the surface, and then bring it down to the sump. So, from what I
It
read, algae particles, I guess, are in the water and they attach to surfaces. So, what the bubble scrubbing is doing is it's taking those algae particles, bringing them up, and bringing them out of the water, and then getting into your filter sock. At least that's what I read, and it seems to be doing that for
Think
me.
of it this way. This is the best way I can explain it. Your skimmer makes bubbles, stuff attaches to it, pops to your cup. Your tank, you're filling it full of bubbles, organics, particles attached to it, takes it to your overflow where it goes to your filtration.
Right.
Turn your tank into a big skimmer to remove those, help lift that stuff out to move it to your filtration.
Now keep this in mind if you're doing bubble scrubbing and you don't have a filter roller mat, you're going to be cleaning those socks a lot more often. I noticed once I started doing bubble scrubbing that my mechanical filtration was getting a lot dirtier, a lot faster. So just be aware of that too. Um, is it reasonable for a roller mat to last 2 to 3 weeks in a reasonable clean system? It is reasonable for your roller mat to last months in a reasonably clean system.
Okay, when you get them, your first few rolls are going to go through much quicker because even though you think your tank is clean, there's going to be a lot of crap and little particles in the water. So I find the longer you have one, the longer they last, right? Because once it gets all that initial stuff out, and there's you have a fish that dives in your sand, there's a bazillion fine particles in there, right? So over time, you're going to remove more and more of those little fines, and then your rolls just seem to last longer over time.
I mean, yeah, mine lasts forever. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they don't smell. That's the other thing. It's really strange.
Yeah, surprisingly.
I don't
I don't know
I don't know
how.
how they don't smell. They're full of crap, literally.
Yeah. But it's wrapped up. Wrapped up crap.
How long
Jen
do you
rolled
bubble
it in my...
for? John, I bubble from, I think, 10 p.m. to about 6 a.m. at night. Always.
Yeah.
Any suggestions on a roller mat for someone who's never had one? I don't know what suggestions other than make sure you don't have too much flow going through it. I mean, that would be a good suggestion because they won't do much if you have thousands of gallons per hour going through those things.
Yeah.
I don't know. Any suggestions for someone that's never had one?
Get the biggest one that will fit.
Yeah.
So you don't have to change as often.
That's a good one.
Yep. Like on mine, I know like my eShop some, but I just cut out the filter sock space to make it fit. Took a little customization, but it's worth it.
So I want to comment what John said. I do not have any salt spray or salt creep on my bubble scrubbing. As long as you do it properly, you're not going to get it. And
yeah, okay. If you're getting that, your bubbles are too big.
That's correct.
Now there's another question about Lee. What's the benefit of a wood air stone by return pump versus just putting under a wave maker? Okay, so wooden air stone, aka the limewood ones, produce finer bubbles than like an air stone or something else, and that is key. Now, putting it by a return pump, especially if it's not directly there, it's away a little bit, the bigger bubbles are going to come and pop in your sump, and only the little tiny fine ones are going to get sucked into your return pump. So you're only letting those tiny fines in your tank, which is going to prevent any of that like salt creep or splashing and whatnot.
Is the guy holding the sign will work for reef equipment?
Nice.
So yeah, mine. Maybe I'll show you guys a picture one day. But my wooden air stone is literally an inch away from my return pump inlet. It's like sitting like right here.
Yeah.
And that's the right way I found to do it. And I get almost zero salt creep. So it has to do with, like Devin said, the amount. That's why they always tell you to put an adjustment on the wood stone, so that way you can adjust the amount of bubbles going into it, and that way you don't have to worry about it just going crazy. I am new here and want to know what's the best way to check salinity. And he has the Godfather as his. There you go.
I use one of these.
I have the
That's what
exact
I like.
same one.
Let's check the frag tank.
So Ahmed asked 3 times. I just want to make sure. So we have to give him 3 answers. He asked the exact same question 3 times. So we are going to do Hannah Salinity Checker, Hannah Salinity Checker, Hannah Salinity Checker. 3 times, 3 answers for you. That's it. That's what I used to.
I've read some things of people saying that these are not as accurate if you test in the tank versus testing new water, and I think it's related if you're dosing a lot of 2-part, which is adding salts in essence to your tank.
Yeah.
It may be messing with this a little bit. I use calcium reactors and stuff, so it doesn't really make a difference. So for me, they've been very accurate. I've used them well dosing as well, and it still seems accurate to me. So one note on it, but overall, that's what I
Yeah.
like.
I
It's
mean,
quick and easy. It works well.
I use balling method, so I don't have that issue with Salinity. If you guys don't know about balling method, read up on it, and you will notice that it doesn't affect your salinity whatsoever. Doug, thank you so much for the super chat for sim repairs. I don't know what that means, but okay. Thank you so much either way.
Flight,
Um,
your flight sim, maybe?
I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
No. They were talking about that, I guess, earlier while I was trying to fix my computer. Um,
Yes. Do you have to calibrate it each time? No, I do mine every like 4 to 6 weeks, maybe.
Yeah, Ahmed, you know what I do? I have the same one Devin has. So what I do is if I don't use it for like a month, I'll just get out a Salinity packet and I'll put it in there just to see if it's accurate. Um, when I bought the Salinity probe, I bought like 20 of those packets just so I have them.
Mhm.
It comes with two, I think, in the box, but I bought a bunch of extra ones just in case.
Yeah. Every like month
Derek
or so, I'll
doesn't
just
know how to
calibrate.
use a calcium reactor. Okay, John. Real funny, buddy. Real funny. I'm wondering, John, how's your ACR doing after it blew up? I'm just curious. Anyway, my Apex Salinity Pro finally right itself. I would say, obviously, Ahmed, if you have a controller, having a salinity probe is the right way to go. Um, it's interesting how many people that I read online have so many problems with salinity probes. And
The Neptune probe.
right, specifically.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. So what I've learned over the years is it should just have better shielding on it. It doesn't. It's acceptable interference. So just make sure that wire is away from all other wires. Make sure there's no power wires. I don't care if it's DC. Keep any power wires that could possibly give interference away from it, and then you'll be fine.
Well, here's what I was going to say. I have read so many places that people are like, my salinity probe is not accurate. And I go, okay. And then I read that it's reading like 34, and they get out their salinity tester and it's reading 34.5, and they're going, oh my god, it's not working. That's the biggest problem. Is I think Devin and myself feel the same way. If you're seeing trends, it works really well. But if you're trying to get an accurate reading exactly the same as three other different devices, then yeah, they're all going to be different. That's just what's going to happen.
Even if things are off a little bit, it doesn't matter. It's the trends, right?
Right.
Is it going up or down, or is it stable, right? Like, it doesn't matter what you keep your LCAD within reason, right?
Right.
But keep it stable. Like a lot of these things, as long as it's stable. Ha
Yeah.
ha ha. Speaking of wires, I finally piped in the Alcatronic because my little BNC cable showed up to the JHL, so now it shows it on my
Oh,
dashboard.
nice.
Yeah.
How often would you change out the Neptune dose heads? Pet Malu, I have not once changed them. I've had my dose for probably a year, maybe a year and a half, and I've never touched them.
If you're using it for dosing, probably can go a long time without worrying about it. If you're using it for like big auto water changes, probably might be once to do something you want to do every like 6 months to a year. So it depends what you do with it. Depends. It really depends how much use they have, right? Because it's those little rollers could wear down, or the tubing, the PharmaMed, whatever tubing
Right.
inside of it can wear down over
Yeah, and
time,
that's
and it could
easy to
leak
replace
eventually. Or
too. I mean, it's not expensive either to replace
yeah,
those. John is the new troll of the channel, apparently. Uh, don't be like Desert Reef Dude. Just don't. I don't need two of you guys. I really don't. Uh, for auto. Okay, he said thank you three times. Three times. That's amazing.
yeah.
Let's see how many people we got in the contest. Exactly 25. Wow. Now one of them is me, so that doesn't count, and one of them's
You're not
Desert
supposed to
Reef
enter your own
Aquatics.
contest.
Well, I have to get it started. So
Oh, fair enough. So have you ever won your own contest?
no, and if I did, I would just cancel it out. Um, but as for the salinity probe, guys, I have three of them. I've one on each of my tanks, and and I've said this so many times, as long as you're not getting any bubbles onto them, they work very well. I don't know why so many people have so many problems with them. Like you said, making sure the electrical wire isn't touching, 120 somewhere. Um, it works really well. How do you automate cleaning sand? You don't. I mean,
That's smart. Although I did build a really cool device to like messless and no water change buckets and
Fred, I
basically
have I have an automated cleaning sand beds. It's called a
perfect.
Diamond Goby. They are the automated sand bed cleaners. So
Perfect.
if you
Sounds
literally
good.
want your sand to look crystal clean, get one of those. The problem with it, I think what's a Diamond
No coral in the
Watchman?
sand.
Yeah, exactly. The problem with them is they spit sand everywhere. So just be aware. You might have mounds after they're done. Um, yeah, a conch is a good one, Philly. Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Do you feel safe with trident controlled dosing? I absolutely do. I've been using it for almost a year now. It's fantastic. You got to remember, producer Reef, that when the trident shuts down or there's any issue with the trident, it still will dose the amount that you put it in. So it's never going to overdose or underdose if your trident was to fail in any way. You also put a percentage so it doesn't go over that percentage.
So can just do baby adjustments.
Yeah. Someone had a good question. What do we dose? Well, I dose Aquaforce A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3 or something. I don't remember
hmm
what it is. And it's a balling method. It's a 3 part.
hmm
And you do calcium reactor, maybe.
Yeah. So I have calcium reactor on the water box. I dose trace elements like once a weekish. I have like the Brightwell like something trace ones. There's a bunch of all in one and a few other ones. So I dose those like once a weekish whenever I think about it.
Hmm.
I was doing it twice a week and I realized my levels are a smidge high, so then I'm like once a weekish. Um, I do have the Reef Energy stuff, like the aminos, which I don't dose it daily, but I also feed mice this daily, which has aminos in it. So
Yeah.
that's again when I think about it. um, the frag tank so far, I've only been using the Kalkster. I haven't even turned the calcium reactor on yet, so the Kalkster has been keeping my elk stable so far.
On the frag tank, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I also have like an overkill one that's made for like a couple 100 gallon tank, so it's like I just wanted to have to maintain it less, so I went big.
Yeah. Well, I have, let's see, I dose the 3 part, I dose Acro Power, I dose Fido. I make Fido and then I dose it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I dose iodine once a week. I manually dose iodine. I test
Yep.
iodine once a week.
Oh, I dose that too when I dose the trace element, so
Yeah.
randomly.
I notice a big difference when I started dosing iodine. For those
Mm-hmm.
that don't know much about iodine, I would recommend doing some research on it. Um, I noticed a significant difference in a number of my corals' color once I started dosing iodine. But again, for those out there, I'm not dosing iodine. I'm manually checking iodine and then putting in some like 1 or 2 drops of Lugol's every week. That's it. That's all I'm doing.
Now there's iodide, iodine, like there's a few different variations of it. So you use whatever the Lugol's one is.
Yep, the Lugol's. Yeah.
All right, a couple of people asking what test kit to use for iodine.
Um. So I use my ReefBot to test iodine, and I think it's a Giesman iodine test, which is very accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And I have tried the Red Sea iodine kit, Lucas, and it's kind of okay, but that's a decent test.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see. Someone had asked something silly. I noticed you're not wearing your company shirt today. No, I'm wearing another company shirt today. You guys didn't know I work for BRS too.
Perfect. I like this.
uh,
This is one of my favorite reef shirts.
yes, Philly, the expensive German one. Yeah, I
Yep,
got to make my own shirts too one day.
it should. It's fun.
Do you agree with calc for pH? So, Deven is using calc. I don't like calc, and I can tell you why. But Deven, you're
Tell
using
us
calc.
why. This is the first time I've used it in like 5 years, so give me your spiel first.
Okay. So I tried using calc. It's such a pain in the butt to work with. It's dirty. It gets all over the place. Uh, I just don't like it. Just using it in general. But besides that, it's hard to gauge how much it's actually putting in your tank. You have to have it. You have a stirrer, of course, but you have to gauge, how much exactly it's putting in. There's no calculator out there that says, "Oh, well, I have this much calc, so it's going to do this." It's. I think it's completely random. That's my thought on it. Um, at least with dosing or calcium reactor, you know exactly how much you're putting in. Uh,
Well, you put in enough to keep your alkalinity stable.
True.
Like dosing. How much you got to dose? Put in enough to make sure that 24 hours later your alk's the same level. Same thing with this.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I'm just not a fan. I mean, I tried it. I tried it a lot. I tried it to raise my pH. I did not just. It just didn't work. I think for people that have calcium reactors, Kalkwasser can definitely be a good supplement with your calcium reactor.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, I'm doing a CO2 scrubber on my skimmer, and that's doing just fine for me.
Yeah,
I think it's
that
it's
should be
different for
bad.
everybody. You
Mm-hmm.
know.
So comparison. My water box tank currently has a pH of 7.7, super low.
Very low. Wow.
Just calcium reactor. I currently have a pH of 8 on the frag tank. And the high of that from yesterday was 8.16 bulk, and the high of my other tank yesterday was 7.9.
Oh wow.
So it's about what 7.9
Yeah.
to
Absolutely. I totally agree
8.16.
with you on that.
So it's
Um,
a decent boost. Now
I'm
it's been
looking at my
all the
tank
windows are
right
shut
now.
and all that jazz now.
Come on. All right. So my CO2 scrubbed tank high is 8.1, low is 8.0. So the
Lucky.
so the good thing there is I don't have a very large variance,
Mm-hmm.
which is nice. On my nano, 8.0 to 8.2 on a daily.
Yeah. I'm
So
tempted to put outside air to my skimmer on this tank since I'm like a foot from the wall.
I'm confused between having to stir the Kalkwasser, or just like, oh man.
Okay, so the liquid from there is what you dose, right? You don't want to dose the milky stuff. You want to dose the clearish top.
Right.
Um, so you could mix it yourself, let it settle, and dose it. However, that's a lot of work. Having a stir automates that for you. So every 4 hours, I have a little like magnetic peel in the bottom, and it mixes mine. So that just makes sure it's always fully saturated. Now I'm dosing like just shy of a mill a minute, 24/7. So I have a Versa pumping water from my ATO through the reactor, and then every 4 hours, my Versa shuts off for 20 minutes. The little pill turns on for 1 minute, mix it up, and then it gives it like 19 minutes to settle. Then it goes back to dosing again. So that's what mine does.
So I have a question for you because you brought up a point that I've been trying to figure out. How do you figure out your how do I put this? How do you know how much to put in based off of evaporation?
As long as you're not, I have an ATO as well. So as
Right.
long as you're not putting in more than evaporates, then you're good,
Okay. It's
right?
all
Because if you
Derek's. Yeah, it is all Derek's.
if you're putting in more than your evaporation, then you're going to see your return pump level slowly rise over time, right?
So
But if
that
you're
brings
putting
up
less than that, then you're good.
so that brings up the point that I was going to make is when I
Mm-hmm.
had a calcium reactor and I tried to do calc, the calc, if I try to do it the way you're doing it as
Mm-hmm.
a constant drip, it would always be too much over the evaporation.
Yeah,
And
so you
it,
got to drip less.
right, and by dripping less, it didn't make any difference to my pH. That's what I was getting at.
Oh,
Is
fair.
so it depends. Everyone, it depends on your tanks. Some
Now,
tanks.
was your solution fully saturated?
Yeah, I had a calc stir, just
Okay.
similar to you.
Okay. It could have
Yeah.
just been. I mean, calc. There's gonna be a point where calc isn't gonna be able to handle my tank, and that's where I'm gonna add the calcium reactor in to
Right.
take off whatever load it can handle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have a reactor and stir in my calc and still 7.06. Who to fix this?
Well,
So Milton, I'm
don't.
wondering who's gonna fix that too.
Yeah, only you are gonna fix it.
Yeah, I'm
However,
I'm not going to your house, buddy. I'm just not. But Deven might want to swing by.
it may cost travel expenses and plus some. Okay, so don't use calc to try and raise your levels. Just use it to maintain it. So just get some 2-part, dose it up to where you want it to be, over a day or two, and then just let your calc maintain it.
And 7.6 is actually not bad.
Yeah.
7.6 is actually most Acropora, for instance, like a lower alkalinity anyways. So
LPS like
7.6
a bit
is,
higher though.
yeah, LPS, that's true. I keep mine at 8.5, and I've been
Mm-hmm.
keeping 8.5 for months.
Yeah.
But yeah, 7.6 isn't bad, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you know, Milton. And like Deven said, I wouldn't chase any numbers. Just try to keep it stable. As long as you can keep it stable, then you can slowly bring it up. So if you keep it at 7.6 and it's always 7.6, that's a win-win. And then, you could add a supplement to get it a little bit higher and then keep it maintained at whatever that is. But
Yeah.
7.6 isn't bad.
Yeah.
Um,
So you still have to add 2-part. Yeah. So calc, there's going to be a point where calc can't keep up. That's kind of the downfall of it. It's good when you don't have a crazy high demand, but if you have a tank packed full of corals, eventually it can't keep up. So you're going to have to add in something else.
yeah, it's not gonna. I used to do calc when I had a 10-gallon tank. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Well, mine's like 140 or 150. Like it's a good chunk of volume.
yeah,
But I'm doing it just mainly for pH, but it's been dealing with
yeah.
my elk, so it's
Well,
good for
Devin
now.
also convinced me to now upgrade my nano tank.
I convinced you, did
He
I?
didn't do it literally. He did it just by putting in a frag tank in his office, and I'm like, oh, well, this little 7-gallon might need time to get to a 20 or 30-gallon over here.
Happy to inspire.
So we'll see, guys. I might put a new tank in here. We'll see. I don't know. I haven't really decided yet.
I still got to finish emptying my lagoon and clear it out so I actually have space in my office again. It's
Wow.
cramped with 2 tanks. A little
That's a
humid.
big tank, man. I saw it. That's a big tank for an office. Just saying.
Yes.
That's a big
And it's
tank.
not a big room. I got a tank on both sides of me. Like surrounded. I can touch them both.
Well, if you guys really want to see some craziness, look at my stream from 2 weeks ago and see Desert Reef Aquatics room of like 600 tanks that he has, with like every lizard that is from South America. It's ridiculous what he's got.
Nice.
Let's see. We got, yeah, my ORP on my Reef is 305. It fluctuates between 300 and 320, and it's on 24/7. Even though I have a program to turn off when it hits like 400, it never even gets there.
Mm-hmm.
And my salinity for you guys, it's literally pinged at about 34.8 to 35 all day long. So,
My salinity is slightly low. I need to up it.
so let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Another thing, guys, if you have MP40s or MP10s or MP60s, I highly
Yes, I
recommend
do.
you get a second set of wet sides. And having a second set of wet sides, there you go, provides you
Within it.
with, we're talking about automating maintenance, right? So having
Mm-hmm.
a second set of them, obviously you just swap them out.
Maintenance done. Throw the other one in some citric acid for a
Yeah.
few hours. Quick scrub with the toothbrush. Done.
So it gets dirty, it gets clogged, which they rarely do, but they do slow down a little bit. So when they slow down, just pop them off, put the new one in, and you're done.
Usually when it turns purple or has too much algae on it, I'm like, all right, I'll change it, and then do the switcheroo.
Yeah, I think mine's about time for switching. Uh, let's see. So that's another good tip that I could recommend for I guess it's an automating maintenance, but it's not really. Um, you know,
It's just lack of downtime of flow and not having to deal with stuff. Your flow's off for less than a minute, and then you're good to go again.
yeah. The only thing, my wife actually likes this, but I do not like cleaning my algae turf scrubber. I mean, it gets ridiculous, my algae turf scrubber. Um, so I wish there was a way to automate that somehow, but I haven't come up with a way to do it, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Where is? Let's see. We got this. So yeah, we got 25 people entered. One of them being me, but we'll give this away regardless. It's not a big deal. Antonio from BCA gave me these to give away, by the way, guys. So I didn't buy these. Um, they are strictly for giveaways. And if you guys aren't familiar with what they do, you plug in a MaxiJet or a Siche pump,
Siche.
and oh, it's a little blurry.
There you go.
And you plug in the attachment, and what's really great is this will clean. This is perfect for cleaning like a sump.
Those things are awesome.
So you plug in the MaxiJet, you put a tube into the top port here, and you're done. I mean, this thing is awesome. You know,
Detritus vacuum at its finest.
here's another good picture of it. You can see the tube up here, right here. Right.
Yeah, I have the original one, and it's awesome for
Yeah.
actually cleaning the sump and getting all that junk out from under your Chaeto and everywhere. It's great.
Yeah. And just so you know, this is a special edition, and it has this color here is kind of like a greenish yellow. You guys can't see it because of the green screen, but it's kind of like a greenish yellow color. And then you get two attachments. So you get the one that's a little bit thinner to get into corners. I mean, these things are awesome. And then you get the other one is kind of like a that's a bad. There you go. It's kind of like a scoop. So these things are awesome, guys.
Yeah, I like them. I have one. It's great.
Let's see. So yeah, that's what we're giving away today. So we're at about an hour, so we're gonna start shutting down the stream.
Automation powered out.
Because I'm still half asleep. I haven't even had breakfast yet. And,
Me neither.
We kind of woke up a little late to do this, and I had computer issues. It was just an interesting morning for me. So anyway, we're gonna see who's gonna be the winner today of the VCA attachments. So whoever wins, just go ahead and message me on Facebook, and we'll get this out to you. So here we go.
Dun dun dun.
The winner today is Lee Wishnoff. Wishnoff.
Ho ho ho! Congrats, Lee.
Congratulations, Mr. Lee. I saw you in the stream earlier, so if you're still here, go ahead and say hello.
He is.
You are the winner of the vacuum attachments.
Congratulations on a
which
very
are
clean
really cool.
sump. Third win? What? I haven't won once.
He's won 3 times?
Damn.
Wow.
Yep.
I tell you guys, it's not rigged. I mean, I'm using this software. It does it for me. Hey, but you know what? Like they say, the lottery, the more you play, the more you can win. So the more people come to the stream, just remember, if we only had like 50 people today. If we had like 120, then, it'll be a little more fair. But anyway.
Yeah.
Wow, Lee, that's awesome, buddy. Well, congratulations,
awesome.
guys. And Deven, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you waking up to be here.
No problem.
And hopefully a couple people learned some stuff today in our stream. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. And stay tuned, because I got some great videos coming. I started recording them yesterday. I'm going to do a video on the nitrate tester before Deven does. But I got some GHL tutorials coming up and some other really cool stuff, so stay tuned. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you for watching.